All right. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Toddcast. It is Wednesday evening, so all of you Wendigos should be out doing your Wendigo things. Um, we are joined with a guest this week, Brandon Ingram, who's going to be talking about his comics from Dismay Comics. He has a Kickstarter coming up. Thanks for coming up and hanging out with us, Brandon.
Thank you guys for having me. Happy to be here.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna do a couple little just housekeeping things, I guess. So I forgot to write these down again. Damn it. So next weekend, not this weekend. Well, actually, first, I want to put out a very public condolences to the Phantom of the Attic Noblestown family. Ron, who was the owner and a friend of mine, longtime staple of Pittsburgh's comic scene, passed away last weekend. And it is very, very crazy. There's a GoFundMe on, I believe, on their page too, to help his family cover all the expenses. So if you guys want to go and donate to that, that'd be great. He would be very, very well missed. I always had a great time hanging out with him when I'd stop by to shop or just stop by to shoot the shit or whatever. But he was always a great guy, and I'm gonna miss hanging out with him. So, all right. Not this weekend, but next weekend, the 30th. Justin and I will be in Canton at the Hall of Fame City Comic Con up there in Canton, Ohio. We're gonna have some comics, maybe some mangas to sell. It's gonna be a good time.
We're going to rub in the salt wearing our Steeler jerseys. Sorry, I had to get the big in there.
I might wear my Steeler hat.
There you go.
But Greg Bartholomew from All American, if you already put reservations in for the restaurant, add 2 more seats. We're gonna need to go watch the belly dancers while dinner happens again. It's a good time.
It's a good time.
After that, just so you know, also next weekend starts Pittsburgh Music Theater's run of Evil Dead the Musical. It's most of the weekends starting then through October. It's going to be a great time. We're cross promoting that with them. My fraternity guys are actually going to be ushering most of the nights. It's a good time. Pittsburgh Music Theater. It's actually outside in a canopy in the parking lot. And if you've never seen Evil Dead the Musical, you need to. It is fucking hilarious. There are songs such as "What the fuck was that?" All the men in my life keep getting killed by Kandarian demons. Do the Necronomicon, which is their version of the Time Warp. It is absolutely hilarious. It's filled with all kinds of like updated jokes. The guy, if it's the same guy who played Ash in the last one, he nails it. Looks like him. Everything's great. Like the cabin comes alive. There's blood everywhere. There's a splash zone. It's a good time. You can get your tickets at pittsburghmusictheater.com, I believe. Or .org, PTM. You can look up, just Google Pittsburgh Music Theater. It'll be on there. And then we have this first weekend of October, the Waterfront's anniversary sale. So we're going to have some sales on that a little bit more coming up with that. Other than that, we have some signings that we're still working out that have not been announced yet. And that's really it. We're just getting into Christmas season. So, yeah.
Whoa. It's not Halloween yet. Let's not start with the Christmas crap yet.
Well,
not till at least November.
It's Christmas shopping season.
Okay, that I will give you. But Christmas comes too soon as
it's not actual Christmas season like that.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's deal with spooky season first. I just had my first pumpkin thing this week.
Yeah.
So
we have Fear Fest coming up on the 21st. We have the warehouse sale the weekend before. Come out to that too. $500,000 $1 a piece. And then Fear Fest is, if you guys don't know, underneath one of our warehouses, there is a Fearscape haunted escape room. So it's not a haunted house and it's not an escape room. It's a haunted escape room. So you can go to that all the weekends. I think they already started. If not, they'll be starting soon. And Fear Fest, we get a bunch of like the weirdest vendors on the planet to come to this thing. Like one time we had a dude who was like selling like shrunken heads and like body parts in jars and stuff. I was like, I don't even know if that's legal, but whatever. So it's a good time. As
long as you have the permit, it's all good. As long as you have there's taxidermy license. As long as you're licensed,
okay,
you're fine.
Okay.
Trust me. My wife Rachel gets into that stuff. She had to do the research on it.
Oh, I thought you were like she got a license and now we're
going
out looking for strays.
Although I am surprised she didn't want to try that. But no, she just collects and buys. So.
Right.
And apparently if our eldest cat passes away, he will be taxidermied.
Oh,
so
good to know. In sleepy position or like kind of
no sleepy position.
Okay.
He's a laid back cat, so we want to kind of give that whole laid back thing.
I think I'd rather have
that's the young
like
one.
The
young one will be that
the
way.
Scared black cat Halloween look to it, you know.
No, that'll be the young one. But I think we try to get it like a wire in it so he looks like he's jumping and leaping because that's all he does all day. So
and you put it above the fridge and have that action where it looks like it's jumping. So if someone's at the fridge, it looks like
put
it's
a
about
suction
to pounce.
cup so it just goes
straight.
There you go. All right. So
it's a good start. Good start to the podcast.
This is real good. We're gonna keep this momentum going. So Brandon, why don't you tell us your secret origin? Like, how did you get into comics? Like, what, where you're from, all that stuff. Like, let us get to know you.
Yeah, so I am from South Alabama. Basically where I am now is Florida. So I'm in one of the wildest parts of the United States right now. But I pretty much grew up around this area. Yes, South Alabama, but I'm like an hour from where I grew up. Like this part of Florida, like Northwest Florida, it's just an extension of South Alabama, basically. And ultimately had a good childhood. My origin was going to yard sales with my mom and finding shoe boxes of comics for sale at yard sales back when that was possible to find comics at yard sales. Yeah, pretty much got a couple shoe boxes, read through a bunch of 70s, 80s Marvel, DC stuff like the Adventures of Superman, Action Comics, Amazing Spider-Man, as well as the more obscure stuff like DP7 from Marvel and all that. So that was kind of my origin into comics. And then picking up monthly started in high school with New 52 Batman.
Cool. I remember the New 52 days. They were so nice. So mostly because, you know, they were at least consistent. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get into writing? You're a writer, correct?
Right.
So how did you get into writing stuff?
I pretty much started writing screenplays shortly after high school, mostly as like a hobby type thing. I was writing short horror screenplays. And then it branched off and I was writing other genres and then started writing some feature-length screenplays. And my first feature-length screenplay was The Gallows Man, which is a comic I've already put 2 issues out and still making more issues of that. And so was big into writing screenplays and eventually wanted to write comics because I'd been into comics from a very young age. Really enjoyed comics. I was studying for like a year or two, not out of college, but strictly just YouTube and interviews and all this stuff, studying how to write and make comics, like not just writing comics, like the behind the scenes, like going through a comic printer, doing this, doing that, all that stuff for like a year or two. to where in February of 2019, I finally like pushed myself into actually going out and hiring artists and working on my first comics, basically.
That's awesome. It's very, very cool. So, is the artist that you have on this book that we're gonna talk about, is he the same one that did the other book, or is this a different artist completely?
This for most of the art in this one, it's a new artist, like new in terms of one I've worked with before, but I've been a fan of this artist even before I reached out to hire him. He did a book called Slowpokes a few years ago, which was basically about like, what if sloths were in a laboratory, they were being experimented on, and they were fast? What if sloths were fast and they were just killing these laboratory people, murdering and butchering people at an amusement park? It was like a fun B horror movie with killer sloths. And I really loved that. I loved his art in that. And eventually, whenever I was writing the stories for Tales from Town City #1, there's one story where it is animals viciously killing humans. And I was like, I've basically seen this guy do that before with sloths. Like, I want to reach out. I want to see if he'd be interested in doing this book, and ultimately got him to do that and another story in this.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Thank
All right. Oh, Marvin Wynn says hello. He's in the chat.
Hey,
on
Marvin.
YouTube. So Marvin's a bit of a staple on the show. Like, he'll randomly pop in every once in a while. So, okay. So let's take a look at the book. Yeah. So we're just going to flip through. I'm just going to flip through to some parts that I really like. First off,
Yeah.
I love the story that is the cover art. Like the pet story.
Thank
So
you.
freaking
Yeah.
good. So this has 3 stories, right?
Yeah.
And
there's 3 stories, and the one you had mentioned, the animals one, it's called Fierce Pets. And for those listening, PETS is an acronym. It stands for Precise Ecosystemic Tactical Squad, kind of harkening back to those Wildcats days with the covert action teams. But yeah, I enjoyed writing all of these. This one right here is a Tinfoiled Hypnotism. Basically follows 2 homeless villains trying to use expired coupons. One of them has hypnotism powers, but they're very, very weak. It's just them trying to convince the clerk that these coupons aren't expired. Fun, silly time, going back to like the sillier times of like Silver Age comics a little bit.
Yeah, that I definitely got that vibe from these. So also, like, the clerk guy, I don't know if you know Sean Gabarin at all. He used to work for Action Lab. He writes like a bunch of horror books. This dude looks like him and would absolutely respond the same way. Like he would just be like, "No, dude, this is expired." So, I thought this was it. I was like, "Where is this going?" And then eventually, I was like, "Okay, that's pretty good." So that ended way better. I love the little background story of the pirate guy.
Oh yeah, how he came about, like being a businessman, then accidentally hypnotized and becoming a pirate, and he gouged his own eye out, cut his own hand off, cut his own leg off, put hook there, peg leg there, all to truly get into the role of being a pirate.
And I love that he talks like a pirate too. Like, that's just really funny. So the second one, I thought it was cool because it's almost like the main character here almost looks like Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
But he's being more like of a Sherlock Holmes. And I love that it's like dead supervillains, and they're just like, "Oh, you're called this because that makes sense. This guy doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't make sense." Like,
of all the stories, this one's like the most meta in terms of like the villains you see sometimes with Marvel, DC, or whatever other publisher, how sometimes a name doesn't really make sense for a villain. And so it's just kind of this guy, this mortician who's just cremating these villains' bodies, just losing his mind as he's talking to himself, trying to make sense of these villains' names.
right. Like the guy that is right here is called the Jackal. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, you wear a green suit, a green gangster or something would be better.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's pretty hilarious. So I
Thank
like
you.
the meta jokes of like the frog, like stuff like that, like how it was just like, wow, you guys are terribly named. So this one, I have to say I like the reason I liked this last story in here the most is because the dog or all the animals still speak animal. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't translate them to English at all.
No, no,
And
yeah.
I
That was
think
the
that was
thing
my favorite
is,
part of it.
thank you. Whenever I wrote this, I had like lines, like actual dialogue, but then I would just take each word out and put the animal noise in. And it's a funny time, especially like this page that's coming up where it's just it's almost like the 9-panel grid almost, where
Yeah.
it's them having a conversation, but it's just the animal noises. Like ultimately through reading the story and looking at the emotions, you can see where the plot is going, but knowing specifically what they're saying, you don't know the specific lines of dialogue. But yeah, it's
Right.
a lot of fun.
I thought it was funny that the villains are like a bunch of like British dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like and that they're like ready ho, sir. Like that's how I heard it in my head. It was
yeah, yeah.
and
That's
then it's like,
exactly
oh look, a
Jumanji.
butterfly. Yeah, right.
the monarch
So
butterfly is quite the exquisite creature indeed. Yeah,
yeah. And then boom, they're all there. And
yeah.
I the other thing that I absolutely love is
The flying
the
squirrel.
the actual Wolverine,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
doing real
Doing the
Wolverine.
fastball special with the walrus and the sloth. Yeah, I
Oh,
wanted to do that. I thought it was really funny. And then yeah, just the
yeah.
carnage of these animals slaughtering these poachers. It's a fun little time.
And the Wolverine cutting the lock.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, come on. Oh man, this is good. I
Thank you.
really liked this.
Thank you,
It
man.
felt very Pet Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
I really enjoyed that last story. Justin, what did you think of these stories?
I liked all of them pretty much. You know, they all reminded me of something. You know, and I felt like the first story is very, like you said, very campy. But I could see like splashes of like Tales from the Crypt a little bit in the first and second stories. Because especially the second one where the mortician's just sitting there talking to the body. How
Yeah,
many
yeah.
episodes of Tales from the Crypt started out like that?
You're
So
right.
it got that, you know, I was almost half expecting one of the villains to kind of pop up and do something, but it's like, oh, he's just doing his job. Okay, cool. You
Yeah.
know, I have to admit the pet one is the one that I enjoyed the most just because all the callbacks, like you said,
Like,
that the fact that you didn't understand what the heck they were saying, but it was still fun because you get the general gist of it.
there's
Yeah.
this other panel that's just fucking amazing. It's right here where
Yeah, yeah.
the walrus just like tusks the guy.
And like you don't know what he's saying, but you see like through the dialogue, he's like Gar hits him, then Gar. Then there's like the dot, then impels him with the tusk, and it's like Gar exclamation point, to where like you don't know specifically what he's saying, but you're like, he either said like some like dark crap right there, or that was like a crazy action one-liner or something.
Or there was some kind of awesome pun.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly.
that's the way I'm looking at it. But
Yeah.
like the like this is so well. This last story I think is the best one of the three.
Yeah.
But you guys nailed it in both writing and art.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like, because it flowed so well together, and um, I just wanna talk a little bit about, like, so how like, did you have all the scripts first, and then how much time was there doing back and forths? How much of the character design was yours? Like, how because you guys seem to work well together. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I'm asking. So
So I pretty much wrote these three scripts. I wrote like the scripts for issues 1 through 3. Like each issue will follow new set of minor characters and stuff. But I wrote the scripts for this issue back in November and December of 2022,
mhm.
and wrote those, and then contacted Juan Romero, the main artist of most of these stories, back in February, like early to mid February, and I hired him for both stories at that time. And so the first one he worked on was Tinfoiled Hypnotism, like the two homeless villains one. He worked on that through our back and forth through email, and I had the comic scripts completely done. Through our back and forth through emails and minor edits that happened here and there, we finished that one. I want to say, like, before I sent it to the letterer, Nikki Powers, we finished that around June, maybe.
Mm.
There were some other projects he was working on at the time, so but finished that one around June, and then he started working on, or really no, he finished that around April or May. Then he started working on Fierce Pets. He finished Fierce Pets around late June, early July, and so we had all the art and stuff done by early July. I sent it to our letterer, Nikki Powers. She got all that done, and it was the whole comic was pretty much completely done by mid July, late July. The only thing that needed to be done then were the covers, like the main cover and the variant cover, and those got done in August.
Cool. That's awesome. All right, so now we're gonna take a look at the Kickstarter. And boom. Look at that. You're already funded, which is awesome. So
Oh yeah. Thank you.
all right. So it's for the book we just looked at, which is awesome. And then there's a variant cover, which is pretty cool. I actually kind of like that variant cover.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Thomas Tikas is the artist for that, and he's the main cover artist of The Gallows Man.
Okay.
Because for those that don't know, like Tales from Town City is a spin-off of The Gallows Man. You don't have to read any of The Gallows Man to get Tales from Town City. Um, Tales from Town City just follows like very minor characters that were introduced in The Gallows Man.
Well, oh my God, you can get a T-shirt.
Yeah, you can get the
I was going to
T-shirt
tell
with,
you, I
with
was
the
looking at
Fierce
that.
Pets, and it's available in 2 different colors, sand and pale pink, and also has the acronym, the Precise Ecosystemic Tactical Squad on it as well. Yeah,
God damn it.
I'm getting 2 just for myself because I ultimately made the T-shirts for me, and we've already had a decent bit of people ordering them, but yeah, I really like the T-shirts.
Cool. So level 1's pretty simple. Level 2, physical copy, T-shirts, value bundle.
Yeah, you can get like the higher up it is, it's like a ton of stuff, like $25, it's Tales from Town City #1, the main cover and the variant cover both signed, sticker set of the comic, PDF of the comic, and social media thank you. I think 1 or 2 other things. I think the scripts of the comic, so you can see like, oh, like let's see how good of a comic writer he is, or like you read it and you're like, oh, he sucks at comic writing, I know what not to do. This has helped me in that way, at least. But yeah, there's varieties of tiers, like ranging from $1 to $75, a tier for any budget really. um, $5 digitally for the comic, $12 for the Gallows Man #1, the Gallows Man #2, all digitally, which is over 130 pages of comics. And like you had mentioned, physical copies start at $10. And then There's these bigger tiers, like for comic shops. There's a retailer bundle that comes with 10 copies of the book. That's 5 copies of the main cover, 5 copies of the variant cover, all signed by me, as well as a social media shout out, like in our thank you posts of the comic shop. Just a lot of variety in the tiers, basically.
Cool. Well, you're gonna be getting a retailer bundle from us, and I'll probably buy a t-shirt on top. So
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you.
because it looks freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff for this complete
yeah.
bundle. I thought that was cool. Did you ever think about doing so like, I don't know how much Gallows Man you have left, but something I've seen. First off, thank you for doing a retailer bundle. That is awesome. And it's a pretty good price because you're selling the books for like $10. This would, if we doubled it, it'd be like around 10 after shipping. So that's pretty much what we would look for as a retailer. And then like something I've seen a lot is like this, they call it like a catch-up bundle, right? So if say like guys like us who maybe we missed Gallows Man, but we are really digging this, and we kind of like, well, maybe we'll get some Gallows Man too. Like it would be like, it'd be like the retailer tier plus like another 5 of the Gallows Man, or even 2 of each Gallows Man cover, or
like
something.
A retailer catch-up bundle. I like that idea. Yeah, this is the first time I've thought of that, but yeah, future Kickstarters, I'm going to include that. That's a good idea.
There you go. Because I did that with somebody else we had on the show. I forget who it was, but they had like one where it was like you can get, because their Kickstarter was for issue 3, and you could do the bundle and get like 5 1s, 5 2s, and then like 10 3s. And I was that's what I want. So, but it worked out. It was pretty cool. Cool. So you as I say, it doesn't show any of like the other, I guess, stretch goal sticker, which you're about to hit, right?
We've hit 1, so every physical backer will get the cat 1. We're about to hit the 1750 stretch goal. So that one's the Captain Sloth. He's captaining the boat. And then 2500s are third stretch goal, where it's a Fierce Pets poster. Like all physical backers will get that.
Wow. God, I really want that. I really hope you hit that stretch goal.
I was going to say,
so too.
You might have to throw that in with our retail bundle, because we'd put that in the store.
Oh yeah. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
You know where I'd actually hang it? I'd hang it in one of the stores that have like a public bathroom. I'd put it in there so people have to see it. So it's like you're like sitting there pooping and you're like, what the fuck is this? I need to check this out. Look at that flying squirrel. Like, come on. So I dig it, man. Like I dig it a lot. Yeah. And then there's like all the other Gallows Man stuff.
Yeah, pretty much every 25 backers we hit, it's a random backer giveaway we'll do. At the very end, I'll put all the physical backers on one of those random wheels and then select. And so far we've got 3. Once we hit 100, it'll be a 4th one and go from there. That's a little preview of the Gallows Man for those that want to get Tales from Town City, but they're like, let me see what Gallows Man is about, kind of.
Cool. And then here you just talk about all the people that worked on the books, which is awesome. Oh, you use Comic Wellspring. That's cool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys that use that.
Yeah, when it comes to like offset printing, like printing less than 1,000 copies, basically, it's for the quality, kind of the best deal, like the best price for indie publishers. Yeah.
A lot of our we have a lot of friends who use them because we have a lot of friends who are indie publishers. It's a good time. We were just at Baltimore Comic-Con, and the lanyards were from Comics.
Yeah, because they had like they had it sponsored, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's all of your social media so people can check that out. I'll leave that up there for a little bit while we just kind of talk about some other stuff. Justin, do you have any questions? Anything that I missed so far?
No, you pretty much, hit all the points, this looks like a fun little book. So, you as the more indie guy would definitely, this is definitely something that, goes with what the Herrenberg guys here in Pittsburgh, this is definitely something I could see them doing too. So it's like that kind of
Yeah.
humor, if you want like superhero with a twist, it's definitely kind of that route that,
Agreed.
more backers.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I love comics nowadays. I mean, I've always loved comics, but there's the past 10 years, there's been like some deep comics, like some philosophical comics, some serious comics. I love a ton of Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V, a decent bit of Tom King stuff. I really like Tom King's writing most of the time. Sometimes
I like him when
a
he's
little bit
confined to like X amount of issues only.
like a maxi series, and
Yeah.
because I'm iffy on his Batman stuff, but like
Yeah.
Mr. Miracle,
Yep.
Omega Men, like stuff like that I like. But sometimes I love reading these great books, but sometimes I need a break from like the seriousness or the sadness of it. Sometimes like
Mhm.
Tom King, love his writing, but sometimes I need a break from seeing how bad war is, because that's a consistent theme in a lot of his books. And at some point, it's like, I agree with your message, Tom. I need a break though. I need a fun little funny time break. And so
Right.
that's what I kind of like to offer with Gallows Man and Tales from Town City, is just a little fun time break from serious comics, and then you can jump back into those afterwards, as well as just escapism from whatever you may be dealing with in life, kind of.
Right. That's kind of how why I read indie too. Like, sometimes it's just like, oh, you're doing the same thing again. Okay. Especially when they change creative teams, so they try to reboot the universe. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, now I got to deal with, oh, Batman's so sad. Oh,
Oh, Batman
his
sad
parents
again?
died.
What?
Oh, there's another fucking Wolverine. Jesus Christ.
Hey,
What?
leave Wolverine out of this shit.
All right.
Leave my boy be.
There's another fucking cuckoo. But no, I agree. Like, I think there's a lot more that indie has to offer that people realize. And I wish more people would carry more indie and check out more indie. We do a pretty good job of carrying it in most of our stores. The two smaller ones, not so much, but the bigger ones, like our 6,000 square foot and up ones, we carry a decent amount of Indian. Not Indians, indie in them. So
Add a space right
right.
there. Yeah.
For those of you listening only on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, his Instagram's instagram.com/dismay comics. Facebook is facebook.com/dismay comics. And then there's a TikTok, which is tiktok.com/@dismay comics. I'm sure you can just look up Dismay Comics on any of those formats and they'll pop up.
Yeah, I lucked out to where all the social media stuff, it can just be Disney Comics, no underscores or adding numbers or anything. So it worked out pretty well.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh,
I was gonna say, I
so
believe there was a review on this book from a TikTok creator that I follow. And
Yeah,
she gave you very high marks on
thank you.
this. So,
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah. It's one of those things where like it's interesting to see like each year how not entirely the indie comic landscape changes, but the ways of getting your book out there change. Because it wasn't till last year, like my last Kickstarter for my horror anthology series, Dismay Avenue, that I realized like TikTok is a very valuable thing when it comes to getting your book out there. And I've been using it like crazy. I'm still learning a lot about it because I feel like I'm a little bit behind in how quickly TikTok trends or whatever changes. Not that I follow the trends, but just trying to stay up to date a little bit.
Just no Tide Pod challenges or anything like that, you stay away from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Ice buckets are okay though. So I think
Yeah.
still,
Well,
right?
Heck, it's still 100 degrees in most of the country. Yeah, I might as well do the ice bath challenge.
Yeah, but how do you get the ice to stay ice long enough to film it? That's the question.
Oh yeah.
You like
You
walk
go to your
out, and it's
convenience store
immediately
and
a
buy
block.
ice.
But yeah, but then by the time you check out, it's a bag of water. Like,
Where you put in the cooler? You drag the cooler in with you and you throw it in.
yeah, but by the time you like walk half a block, you have to like walk immediately out of the store and do it, because if not, it's going to be water. So
you're making it too complicated, John. Wow.
No, I'm just saying I'm just saying climate change is real. That's all I'm saying.
So for those that are still doing the ice bucket challenge, what you do, go into your local Tom Thumb or Circle K or whatever, grab the bag. As soon as you walk out, then you dump it on yourself.
Right.
There you go. Right in the parking lot.
Yeah, right there.
There you go.
Oh man. Wow, we kind of trucked through that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
you said we wanted to truncate it, so we truncated it for you.
Yeah, my bad. We were a little too fast on that. So what's your next project after this? Like, do you already have something in the works?
So this year was like, because I had someone was like, so you're going to do a book, like one book every year? I was like, no, this year was a exception, because last year we had 2 books. This year it was 1 book, just because this year was the first year I did conventions, like first time doing convention. I'm going to keep doing conventions, but with life and that, was only able to get 1 book out. Next year, I plan to get Gallows Man #3 out, as well as Dismay Avenue #3, and then 90% sure I'll have Tales from Town City #2 out by the end of next year. So at least 2, if not 3 comics out next year.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, we are looking forward to all of those. So
thank you.
Make sure you keep sending us the Kickstarter links for those. So
for sure.
And can't remember. Have you been up this way before?
No. I want to eventually.
Okay.
Like there's a ton of conventions. That's the thing. Where I live, there's not a ton of conventions. That's what sucks. Like,
yeah,
you got to be in South Florida or the Northeast coast or out west to really find the conventions. And where I'm at, it's tough.
Yeah,
I want to though.
You're stuck kind of between like a weird like New Orleans or like Atlanta.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's really not in between.
Yeah, when it comes to the prominent ones, like, because I did Fan Expo New Orleans in January, and that was about 3.5 hours from here, and then something like Dragon Con about 4.5, 5 hours away.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Because we run a show here in Pittsburgh that's like very creator driven, comic driven. It's like a real baby version of like Heroes Con. So if you've ever been to Heroes, it's a real baby version of that. Nice. But that's in the first weekend of June, downtown Pittsburgh. Marvin will be there since you know Marvin. Maybe he'll let you crash at his house. Like drive up and hang out. It's a good time. So cool. Well, I mean, I don't really have anything else. Just like showed off the book, showed off the fucking Wolverine like ripping into people, which was I still think my favorite part of this. It's so good, man.
Oh, I'll mention it's not advertised on the Kickstarter because it's something I came up with like a month and a half ago, But for everyone that gets a physical book, something minor, but you'll get 2 coupons. It's a 50% off tinfoil coupon. These are reversed. 50% off tinfoil coupon, 50% off canned yams coupon. Just something fun I whipped together, as well as there's fine print in it. It's right there, but I'll read it for you guys. Offer only available at the supermarket located in Town City. Expires August 14th, 1941. So every physical backer will get some coupons.
That's awesome. That's hilarious. I'm surprised that wasn't a shirt, like the 2 coupons like layering on each other. Like
that'll be the next shirt design, John.
Or like just like a can of canned yams. Just like it's hilarious.
If I do something in the future with the 2 homeless villains in terms of like branching off of Tales from Town City, I'd probably do some sort of t-shirt design where it's like the Rusty Hook, the pirate guy, like enjoying some canned yams and saying some bit of dialogue like "arg," like something about canned yams or whatever. But
look at these coupons I found. Something like that. That'd be hilarious.
Buried treasure. Arg.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much tapped out. I don't really have anything else. Like we really crushed through that, and I'm kind of sorry that we did this so fast.
No,
but
it
worked out. I thought it was well paced. So
I was gonna say we didn't leave anything out. So
that's true. That's true. So
well, might as well get into a little bit of like current stuff. Are you reading anything currently, like indie, Marvel, DC, otherwise, or?
So kind of the 2 most recent. The next thing I want to read is that Joker, Operation 1 Joker manga, the ridiculous one where it's Batman through something, I don't know exactly. Batman becomes a baby, and Joker scoops up Batman and is going to raise. Well, he's deciding like, do I kill him?
Yep.
And he's like, no, I'm going to raise him. And he's trying to decide, do I raise him to be like me, to be like my Joker son, basically, or raise him to be Batman? Ridiculous premise. I'm all for it, though. That's the next thing I'll read. What I've been reading, I'm almost done. I started reading Joshua Williamson's Rogues, like that Black Label
nice
book.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good so far. I just like the whole heist type comics sometimes, right. And it's a fun little heist. Them hearing about there's gold in them jungles in Gorilla City, and them going in the jungle to Gorilla City to do a little heist. I'm looking forward to finishing that. And then most recently, like really indie comics, I picked this up at a convention recently. There's a comic called Hamilton versus Burr, a werewolf tale. It is and based on the title, you think it might be like a comedy or something. Like, no, they play it like straightforward. Wow. And what's interesting about it is it's like it's not saying it's like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, but it's one of those things where it's like it has real history. Like throughout, there's a ton of events throughout the comic where it's like real history. And in the back of the book, they even point out like this happened, this happened, this happened, like this actually happened. The premise of the book is basically Alexander Hamilton gets a werewolf curse at one point in his life, and then is living out the rest of his life with the werewolf curse, all while like this actual history is going on, to where it's like, oh, like this actual history is like, it's because of this werewolf curse that he has. It's weird, but it's very interesting how they're able to rope like actual history into it.
That's awesome. I mean, it reminds me of like the ridiculousness of like Abraham Lincoln time agent or whatever it was. Did you ever read that book? Like,
I've heard of it. I've never
oh
read
man, it's so ridiculous. Like, it's like him and Albert Einstein and Tesla maybe are like time. They like right at the moments of their death, they pulled them out and they made them like time warriors, and he has to go through time and fix bad shit. Like one time he like fights Castro, and another time he takes on Hitler, and one time he takes on Trump, and like it's all kinds of crazy. Like and the Trump one's really funny because it's basically Mad Max Furry Road. Like
That's funny.
yeah, and one of them's like Back to the Future. And at one point, like I think it's like Mussolini or no, it's man, it's Stalin and somebody else like team up against him, and it's just like the most ridiculous thing. It was like Antarctic Press. I think they collected it into a graphic novel. Like it's really funny if you can find it.
What was the title of it again?
It's like Abraham Lincoln, like time, or it's Time Lincoln. That's what it's called.
Time Lincoln. Okay.
Time Lincoln.
I'll have to look that up and find
Oh
out.
man, so
like
ridiculous. Yeah. That's awesome. And I really like Josh Williams' writing. I really like what he's doing on Green Arrow right now and Superman. Both those books are just absolutely crushing it. So he's a really cool dude. I met him last winter. He was in Pittsburgh for Comics Pro. It was really cool. So
I found, this is random, but it with Joshua Williamson. I was at a comic shop sometime in the past few months and was digging in their dollar bins and found like this is back when he was doing the Flash, found issue 52 of like a beautiful variant cover of issue 52 of the Flash signed by him, like in a dollar bin. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really a big fan of his Flash run, but I'm very picky when it comes to who writes Barry and how they write them. So
yeah,
there's a little too much Wally in that run. So, but cool. All right. So one last time, let people know where they can find you and how to search for it on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So Brandon Ingram, my publishing line is Dismay Comics, Dismay Comics. You can find it on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And the Kickstarter I'm running right now is Tales from Town City #1. Basically, golden age superhero dark comedy. It's an anthology series, 3 stories within this one comic. Very fun time, some fun, silly stories. And you can go through the links in my profiles of social media to get to that Kickstarter, or the easiest one is just Google Tales from Town City Kickstarter. It'll be the first thing that pops up, and every little bit helps in terms of if people want to back it. It's tiers range from $1 to $75, and if you've been on Kickstarter before, sometimes there'll be people that's following you on Kickstarter to where if you just backed it for $1, it sends an email notification out to all those people that follow you on Kickstarter to kind of let them know about the project. So yeah, $5 for a digital copy, $10 for physical copies, and you can also get Gallows Man 1 and 2, as well as in the add-on section. There's the horror stuff like Dismay Avenue 1, Dismay Avenue #2. You can add that on to your orders and get a t-shirt if you really want a t-shirt. There's those available, but yeah, kind of a variety of stuff.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you go and support your local comic shop. It doesn't have to be us, but it'd be great if it was. Wherever you're listening, make sure you buy some comics. Stanley always said, the best way to find out what's going on in there is to pick one up and read it. So just do it. Thanks again, Brandon and Justin. Do you have anything else before we leave?
Nope, that's pretty even out here. So
awesome.
We're good.
All right. Have a good night, guys.